Okay, g'day again. Right, as you can see, got the gearbox out of the car yet again. Still having an issue with it jumping out of first, and I've now got a new issue. It's doing a hill start, and really steep hill. And I jammed into the first, and when I took off, we got a clutch shutter, which I haven't had actually since I put a new clutch in it, but it's seems that the clutch shutter actually has a lot to do with your carby setup. And that sounds weird, but I hadn't had a clutch shutter since I put a new clutch in it. None at all. And this particular day, as I said, I've been fiddling around with the carby still, and I've still got an issue with the butterfly of the carby. It's sort of jamming just as it closes. It's to do with the butterfly being out of position, so I'm going to have to manoeuvre it a little bit or something, or wear it in or something. Anyway, it's sort of improving. It must be wearing in a little bit or pushing itself into place. But anyway, that's sort of side issue. But what I'd done, because the idle, when it warmed up, the idle was too high. And because I couldn't get it to shut off by itself without, jumping on it, like hitting the throttle quickly to get it to shut off, I turned the mixture screw right in, sort of detuned it until it dropped the idle a little bit. And it was after that I got the clutch shutter. Done it twice on a hill, and I got up top of the hill and I went up and turned the mixture screw back out, as to where it was running smoothly again, and I didn't get any more clutch shutter. So that's sort of a interesting thing. Anyway, when I did that hill start and I got that clutch shutter, something changed, and I then started getting a whining noise, a grinding noise, and it was actually crunching going into second. And from there I just went home, gently. And as I said, it had been jumping out of first again, mostly when you back off downhill. It seemed to me not actually going in properly or something. Anyway, so I knew at that point, no more driving until I pull the gearbox out. And what I found, this is what happened on that hill start. Okay, this is on this shaft. Okay, we'll turn on its side. All these gears go on there. Right on the end, you got this spring-loaded piece. It runs onto this gear, which runs onto this bush. This bush runs through this bearing here in this casing. And you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but that bushing is now jammed up because the clip came off the end of the shaft and this bush felt popped out. Like it can only come out so far, and it's the casing, so it didn't come right out, but it come out enough to give the shaft movement and also to make this gear push onto the bearing. And it's chopped out the edge of the bearing and jammed it up. So that's what my noise was. I've got my old swing arm gearbox here, so I'm going to search for it. I'd say that clip's lost its spring, so I'll investigate in there and see if the end clip off that's any better. But as I said, the problem, I probably actually caused it by jamming it into gear hard and holding it in, because to try and stop it jumping out. And anyway, I found another issue. Actually, I'll explain something first. When you assemble this back together and you're trying to adjust your selector, you can't adjust your selector right while it's out of the casing, because the position, like the position this way and that, is determined by where it fits in the casing. See this shim here, which pushes your pinion up against your crown wheel, right? That determines its position in the casing. See? So even when it's fully assembled, this whole shaft isn't locked into this casing. It can move one way or the other. As I said, it's locked in by the other casing, by this nut. And because of that, you can't set up your selector and check whether it's its position without knowing exactly how far this is one way or the other. So yeah, before I pulled it apart, I measured how far this actual shaft was sticking out of the back of the casing here, back of that casing. So I'm going to have to actually make up a jig now to hold it, to hold it in place and in the right position, when the position it's in when it's back in the casing. And from there, I can then adjust the selector to make sure it's going properly into both gears, both first and second. So this is first here, and second's down here. But this is the other issue I'm coming out. I was just investigating everything, and what I've noticed is you can probably even hear that. See, there's a ridge that's worn. And it's not the actual selector that's worn, it's the gear, the steel gear that's worn. See? That's a lot of movement. Right. Especially, this is the one out of my swing arm gearbox. Okay, so fall out. Right. This one, it's probably got a couple of thou. Like it's bugger all. It sort of sounds a bit louder because this one's dry. I just washed it because it's been sitting in a box in the shed, whereas that one's got oil in it, so it sort of muffles it. But that's got a couple of thou of movement. That one's got like 1.5 mil, 2 mil almost. It's huge. So I'm about to swap it over, but there is a difference. I compared the two gears. This one's actually got more teeth on the outer. The inner is exactly the same. The width is exactly the same. So there won't be an issue there. But this gear here runs on your reverse gear. And I compared it to the, where will I put it? Yeah, this is the reverse gear that goes with this gearbox. And it does sort of work, but they're a bit thicker. The teeth are a little bit thicker. And it's sort of, it's not a real smooth engage. As I said, it does gauge, and it'll depend upon how close that shaft is to this shaft, Like if it's, if the shaft is too close, then it might have an issue. If there's that little bit of clearance in it, it should be okay. I can't swap the reverse gear because the one off the swing arm gearbox is different. It's got a different selector. So, and these have got the same amount of teeth, the same size, same amount of teeth. It's just that the teeth on that are slightly thinner, or they're just that little bit different. Whether I can change the actual reverse gear selector and put that gear in, that's probably the first choice, because that's already worn and made to run on this gear. So this runs on there a little bit smoother. But if not, I'll take a risk, because it's only a friggin' reverse if it's got a wind in reversal. So what, it's got a rewind in it already. It's not going to bother me. Yeah. So that's where we're up to at the moment. So as I said, I'm going to reassemble it now with the other selector, with this other gear and the other selector, and then I'm going to look at whether I could change the actual selector mechanism. This is a selector mechanism for reverse, so I haven't actually compared them yet, but yeah, if they're interchangeable, well, then I'll change the reverse selector mechanism and use that other gear. So, and if not, I'll put it together with this gear, the one that came out of it. Yeah, this is a pain in the bum. These, you got springs in here, so these three little tabs in, you got to keep them all in place. You got to get them in place and keep them in place. Yeah, while you get that gear down over the top of it. And, yeah, not that difficult, but anyway. Okay, well, yeah, drama. This is the fourth time now. Fourth time I've had this gearbox apart. And, but, what can you do? I don't have money for another gearbox, so I gotta get it working. So, as I said, yeah, we've assessed the situation, and from what I can see, that's the two main issues. One in that the selector gear is worn severely, and yeah, having to make up a jig so that I can position this whole shaft properly in that casing in its correct position, and then check the selection of first and second gear. So, all right, well, yeah, there'll be a part 2 to this when I'll show you when I get the jig set up, and yeah, show you what decision I made on the reverse gear, and then I'll put you a part 3 and see whether it actually works or not after it's back in the car. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.